Was the hiring of Steve Nash as the new head coach of the Nets with KD and Kyrie on the team, was that a case of white privilege? Was that a case of prejudice or racism? That's the question, because Stephen A. is turning this into a racial thing, a black-white thing, a racial thing, and getting all upset about it. Is he right? Is it white privilege? Is it racial? What I'm sad about is that now, during these times, they're turning everything into a racial issue. Everything is seen through black and white. That's what they see immediately. But we really should look at each case and each situation separately and really look at it with open eyes and open ears and an open heart to really see, is it really? Or is this just to get more views? Is it to get more attention? To get more publicity? Is that what it is? Let's take a look and let's think a little bit, okay? All right, one argument that was made was that, well, there is a trend to hire ex-players as coaches, that there's a trend. People like to do that. And then they were looking at to see, well, how many of those ex-players are actually black. And they find that there are not many. First of all, there are not many black coaches to begin with. And then out of the trend of hiring ex-players, the majority are not black. So people are saying, well, that's proof there, you see. Most of the coaches are white. And then most of the players are black. And out of the players that are chosen as coaches, most of them are white. So someone's saying, well, there must be some type of favoritism here. White privilege here. Where you got coaches like Mark Jackson, who still can't find work. And he's an excellent coach with an excellent basketball mind, excellent basketball IQ. And so they're talking about, take a look at that. And people are talking about that there are other black coaches that can't find jobs, and just in order to get a job, they have to take a job as an assistant coach when they deserve to get a head coach job. So they're saying there is some type of white privilege and there's some type of favoritism being shown here. Like Ty Lue. People are saying, well, this guy was a head coach. He has a championship under his belt, one of the greatest championships that were won against a 73-win team, being down 3-1. That now some people go and say, oh, that was LeBron James, and they don't want to give credit to Ty Lue for that. But nonetheless, it's still on his resume, a championship coach. So they bring someone who has no experience in coaching at all and give him a very prestigious job as a head coach. He doesn't come in as an assistant and work his way up. No, he's put in directly to get a head coach job over people like Mark Jackson, over Ty Lue, over Fitzgerald. So Stephen A. seems to have a good argument, right? Black coaches out of work can't get a job even when there is one available, and are forced like Ty Lue to take an assistant coach job in order to keep working. So he's saying there's some white privilege here. Would you agree? Is there? Okay, let's take a look. First of all, most of the owners are white. And so they're going to be looking out for the people that they like, the people that they want. Right? You expect that. So we're not surprised. But let's look more specifically at the Nets job with Steve Nash. KD, who is an African American, who is black, he wanted Steve Nash. Kyrie endorsed Steve Nash to be the coach. So if there is a case of white privilege, and there is a case of favoritism or even any sense of racism in it, if there is, then the black athletes are not making it any better when they're in a position to help influence who gets jobs, to influence who will be their next head coach, like KD. You know they're going to cater to KD. You know they're going to cater to Kyrie. So when they had that opportunity to get Mark Jackson a job, or Ty Lue a job, or Fitzgerald or anyone a job, they didn't look to try to get a black person in there. So in this case, we really can't say that it's white privilege, because it's a black person, a black athlete, KD and Kyrie, who sought him out, who endorsed him. So even though there may be a case of, in general, white privilege, or in general favoritism, or even if there's any underlying racism in that, which we don't want to say that, but even if that existed, we can't apply it to this situation. Because in this situation, KD wanted Steve Nash. Kyrie endorsed it as well. So we can't say that now. This is not a case of, this is a case of who KD wanted. This is a case of who Kyrie also endorsed and supported. So even though that may, Stephen A. may have some good argument, it doesn't seem to exactly apply to this situation. So we should not always be jumping on the bandwagon and responding emotionally every time we see a case that appears to be racist or appears to be favoritism in favor of those who are white or are not black. You know, it's like that. Why are we always looking at things through black and white eyes? We should be looking for the best coach. And if KD thought that Steve Nash is or was the best coach, we should applaud him for that, support him for that. He shouldn't be forced to have to look for a black coach unless there is a good qualified black coach. For him to overlook a good qualified black coach in favor of another coach who has no experience at all in coaching, no resume of championships on his resume, then now we start to question the reasons behind it. Even though many of us think that Steve Nash will probably do a good job, but why not hire Mark Jackson as the head coach, and then if you want Steve Nash, bring him in as the assistant coach, because he doesn't have experience yet. Get experience under his belt. Then when he deserves it, if he deserves to be the head coach, then he becomes the head coach. Work his way up. Show that he can do it. Prove that he can do it. Prove that he has the qualifications. That makes sense. You're not going in experimenting just because you like someone. See, that's what's bad with jobs in general. You bring your friends, you bring your family, and your corporation fails because you're looking out to bring in your friends and family, but you're not looking for the qualified people. Even if it's from your friends and your family, you're looking for the people who are really qualified, the best qualified in order to be successful. So we're going to see. We're going to see. It's a call that KD is making without any background information. Where's his track record? He's taking a gamble. So we'll see what their season will be next year. It may be good. They have the talent. So it should be good. But we need good coaches and good talent. We've seen what happens to good talent with bad coaches. And we've seen what happened with good coaches with bad talent. You can see a coach bring out the best out of his players and go very far. A good coach with mediocre talent can go very far. But a bad coach with good talent can go nowhere. All right, so let's keep watch and see what happens next year with KD and Kyrie. Stay tuned.